everybody, welcome back and welcome if you're new here. I have an upcycle tutorial for you. This one turned out really cool, especially considering I had zero direction when I first started it. I just knew my base color was going to be this Modern Masters Cool Mint. And as you can see, it goes through a pretty ugly phase here, but it gets my base color on. And I really wanted to see how well this paint would adhere to my surface, and it did excellent. It was almost like an enamel. As you can see, I'm just applying it with a stipple motion. I'm creating a little bit of texture, and I want this piece to look older when I'm done with it, so this layer is very important for that process. So now that I have my base coat done, I want to go ahead and apply a stencil to the entire front face of the piece. This is actually a cake stencil that I found at Hobby Lobby. It was on sale for $1. And I really do like these little cake stencils because the size they are is perfect for projects like this. And so I'm just blending two colors together with a stencil brush. So I'm just starting with my peach color and I'm just stippling it into the middle of all of my roses. These little stencil brushes that I've found are amazing. They are much better than the ones that I used to use. I love the size of the handles as well for doing projects like this. So once I have all of my peach color on, while it's still wet, I'm going to go ahead and take another brush and dip it into my next color. And I'm going to put that around all of the edges of the petals and kind of blend it right back into my other color. So while I still have my two accent colors out and my brushes are still wet, I'm going to go ahead and add my stripes to the rest of the body of the piece. So I'm starting with my main accent color again, the Peachy Keen, and I'm just filling in both open stripes. I'm just adding a little bit of my second accent color, just kind of stippling it into the stripe. I have a little shop towel and my spray bottle full of water. And I'm just giving it a little mist and then wiping some of it back, doing a little bit of wet distressing. I want some of that cool mint tone that's underneath to come through a little bit. So the top of my piece is going to have this gorgeous French style mold. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it just a base of silver mica powder. I'll be using Amazing casting resin, which does dry white. So this kind of gives it a color. That way I can just touch it up with a wax or a paint once it's already on my piece. At this point, I don't know what I'm going to do to it, but you guys do. Since you saw the final result, I'm going to add a little bit of gold. But I always like to start with some mica powder in my mold when possible. You can see I also hate to waste resin, especially this is poured. I don't always know exactly how much I'm going to need for the mold I have. I'm kind of a heavy pourer as well, so I'm working on that, but hey, it works. I'd rather have a little bit of overfill than not enough, but I keep my other mold nearby, and I'm just filling up some flowers just so I'll have those too. I'm sure that I'll find a reason to use those eventually. So after about 15 minutes, I can go ahead and demold this, and I also need to go ahead and fix where I overfilled certain spots. So I'm just taking a little precision knife and trying to go ahead and clean this up because it does get harder the longer you let it dry. This is also something that I don't wait to apply to my piece. I want it to still curve to the top. So I'm trying to move quickly so that I can get it to stay with the contours and the correct shape of my piece. And I'm going to have to help this one out. It dried a little bit more than I wanted to when I was using my precision knife. And I'm going to help it out with some painter's tape. So once I do this, I don't mess with it for 24 hours. I really want to make sure that that has bonded really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my hardware back for my next step. So now that everything has dried really well, I'm going to go ahead and give this the aged effect that really just adds to this piece using my black paint called Licorice. This is where I freak some of you out. I go ahead and coat an entire side in my black paint. I like to work in sections when I do this. That way it doesn't get too dried and it's more of a manageable area to work with. This is a water-based chalk style paint, so I can spray it with my water and then I'm just using a shop towel to wipe it back. I really do love how this is turning out. I just want to add a little bit more gold to it. So I'm going to use my gold metallic paint and I'm just going to kind of sponge on some of the gold onto the top piece and the edges. I could have used a wax for this as well, but I just wanted to see how this paint would do. Sometimes it's nice to do a paint because it dries a lot faster. They definitely do have different results for sure. This turned out so much better than I even imagined it would. I really love these colors together. This piece is perfect to showcase this mold. I really love that top piece. It's gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and have an awesome week.